Alright, equipment. Now, you have to remember, for this video, for this series of videos, the equipment that I'm talking about is specific to this recipe. There is equipment you will need to make other soap recipes, and there's some things that I will show you today that you don't need for all recipes. So this is very, very specific for this one, but it will give you a good start on what you need to continue your soaping journey. Alright, so the first things I'll tell you are things that you have to have. You cannot soap without them. Well, yeah, no, alright. Set of scales. You can't soap without scales. You can't soap if you can't measure. And you need to measure in grams. You can't measure in cups. There are some who say you can. I don't recommend it. You know, especially when you're very first starting out, you want to be able to be as precise as possible so that if something goes wrong, you can then aim to pinpoint what went wrong. Because if you're just measuring just in cups, I mean, a cup of one thing isn't the same weight as a cup of something else. So always get a set of scales. Now, the whole purpose of this is to do it as cheaply as possible. So for me to recommend a set of scales, I would suggest going to Kmart. I think I got this set of scales for, I think they were $12. They might have been $8. They're brilliant. I think I might have to get another set of scales, but I've had these for like 2 years now, and they're awesome. But yeah, something like that. They only need to measure in 1 gram increments, because you don't usually do like half a gram or, you know, anything like that. So 1 gram increments are fine for soap making. If you want to do lotions, you will need to get like a jeweler's scale, but yeah, so definitely, right? So first thing you'll definitely need is a set of scales. I will put these aside so that I don't have to repeat myself. Alright, the second thing you're going to need, now you don't have to stick blend soap, you can whisk it. It will take you hours and hours and hours. So you don't want to do that. So you want a stick blender. I've got 2 here because I have been trying different stick blenders. This is a stick blender. I think they're designed to do things like, I don't know, some people make mashed potato with them, some do drinks and whatnot with them. This I got given by a friend because I'm still looking for the perfect stick blender. Yeah, still. I don't particularly like this one. I don't like this because it has 1 speed, and that's it. Just 1 speed. See? This one, this is my Bellini, which cost me, I think it cost about $28 from Kmart. You can get ones for $12, and if you are just starting out, I would suggest you get a cheap one that looks like this for $12 in case you don't want to continue soaping. But this honestly is fantastic because not only does it have regular speed, it has a little turbo if you just want to give it a, and also the regular speed is adjustable from 1 to 5. So if you want it to go as slow as possible up to as fast as possible. And I've just not found a better stick blender than this. Now the Bellinis come from Kmart, and like I said, I think it cost $28, but it comes with a container you can put on the bottom and you can mix fruit salad and whatnot up in it. But this is definitely the stick blender that I would recommend. If you're going to continue your soaping journey, get this one. Well, for me, you know, that's the one I think. Alright. Next up is gloves. You need gloves. You don't need gloves, but you should wear gloves. I don't tend to soap with gloves, but as a beginner I think that you should. I think that you should take all your safety precautions and not take any risks until you know what you're doing. Simple as that. I don't wear gloves because I know the risks involved, and for me I just prefer not to soap with gloves, but I think that you should. Okay, so these are the Coles ones. Cheap as chips. They're really not expensive at all, and they're great. One size fits all, so they're easy peasy. Alright. Okay, so next thing we'll need to know is you will have to mix up lye. This is what I use. It's a ramekin, which you can get at Kmart, Big W. I think you can get them for like $2 each. They're brilliant, right? Because we're only going to put the lye powder in here. We're not going to put any heat in it at all, although it is heat resistant, so it would be fine. But yes, we're going to just pour the lye into this. So that's what I always use to measure. This is plastic. This is soft plastic. This is polypropylene. For all soap making, I would strongly suggest you never use anything but number 5. Well, that's number 6. There you go. I would suggest on the bottom of all plastic containers there is a triangle with a number in it, right? Number 5 polypropylene is great for heat. It's also great for soap making because it's soft plastic and it's not brittle. So when you use ones like these, which has got bugs in it, so ignore this, is just sitting here waiting to be thrown out. This is the hard stuff. You can't bend it. This will crack when you're not even if you put heat in it. If you just mix soap mix in this, eventually this will crack and get really brittle just from your soap batter. Do not use this. You'll just waste money. I learnt the hard way and wasted money. Now all my soap containers are all soft plastic, right? Now to mix up the lye solution, this is what the lye powder goes in. This is what your water, you'll pour this into your water, okay? So this will have cold water in it eventually, at first, and then you'll pour your lye in and it will get hot, really, really hot. So I like to have a nice tall container because we're only going to have a little bit of water in it, and then a very long handled spoon. I find that the steam that comes off lye makes me itchy. So the further away I can stand from it, the better. I don't want to have my hand down here where it can potentially splash on me. Even with gloves on and long sleeves, it can still potentially splash on you. So if you are, standing way over here, mixing your lye, which is only, this high in this container, there's less risk to you, right? So that's my definite recommendations for your lye. The mixing spoon cost me $1, I think, at Kmart or Big W. I only shop at Kmart and Big W in the reject shop. These came from the reject shop, and these were $2 each. They also have lids, which if you're going to follow this recipe completely, you will need your lid because we're going to leave your lye overnight to cool down completely. Alright, okay, so next thing. I think that's pretty much absolute have-to-haves. When you're mixing your lye, I have these, which I don't use anymore because they fog up my glasses. But you should cover your face with something when you're mixing up your lye, because to breathe in those fumes is until you do it, you'll just think I'm just being extra careful, but you do not want to breathe in the fumes of lye. What I actually use is not here. I'll show you when I mix up the lye, but you do not want to breathe that in, so you need a mask of some sort. You can pick these up, not these cool black ones. You can pick them up from the hardware shop, really cheap. Just buy yourself just one, it'll last forever. Alright, okay, so now we will need to mix our soap. Alright, mixing bowl. Now as you can see, once again, soft plastic. This is a number nothing because there's nothing on the bottom, but it's a number 5. It's a polypropylene one, right? So you want something that's fairly large. With that, this recipe is only going to be, I think I've only done 500 grams, so this is not going to take up all of this bowl. But even when I do my kilo batches, it doesn't take up this whole bowl, right? We're also going to be pouring off some of the, once the soap batter's mixed up, we're going to be pouring some of it off. I'm going to suggest these for this to keep this as cheap as possible. These are just your basic Cynic plastic cups. These are a number 6. These don't last very long. They'll only work a couple of times, and you notice they'll start splitting, but they're cheap plastic cups that you can get from the reject shop. To buy yourself a pack of those, I think it's $2 for like 20 of them or something. They're really handy, and I mean, if you decide not to keep soaping, you can drink out of them. You can even drink alcohol out of them, like the Americans do. Spatula. You don't have to have a spatula, but seriously, a spatula is like, it's my best friend. This is who I spend Valentine's with. Actually, I did not spend it with the massager, but never mind. Yeah, a spatula is just like the best thing, because you can mix with it, you can scrape the sides, you can get as much soap out as you can possibly get. I wouldn't suggest soaping without one, but you can. These are the $2 ones from Kmart. I love these. You can get them in grey, and I think they come in blue as well. You can get these Betty Crocker ones, which are crap and I don't like. You can get those from the reject shop. They're probably like $6 each or something. And Betty Crocker stuff's a rip-off. You can get these ones. See the double head, both sides, and then the single-sided ones. You can get those from, I think these come from like Price Buses, which is just like a reject shop. Any spatula will do, as long as it's a spatula, it's fine. Now, a lot of people will tell you that you cannot use the same things for cooking as you do for your soap making. Now, I think, honestly, that is a little bit of a fallacy. I don't, but it's purely because when you start using fragrance oils, these things start to smell like fragrance oils, and then if you use it in your cooking will taste like fragrance oil, which is not good. It's like you'll find most soap, like most proper dedicated soapers, don't use their normal fridge. They will have a second fridge for their soap supplies, because if you put like these little things that I make, these are scented, right? So if I went and put that in the normal fridge, the smell of that will go through all the food, and then all the food will taste like that, and it's gross. Seriously, don't do it. So yeah, so if this is washed up correctly, there is no possible way you can contaminate your food with soap, right? So in a way, I think there's a bit of fallacy, but yeah, once things start to smell like fragrance oils, you don't want to taste it because it's really, really gross. Alright, so that's all those things taken care of. Alright, now, I've brought this out for a reason. We're going to use eucalyptus. Are we using eucalyptus? So we'll need to measure it. As I was just saying, fragrance oil has a tendency to linger in plastic, right? It does. It's just the way it is. I bought this little beaker from, I don't know, might have been Beachside Bargains or somewhere like that, which is a little bit of an upmarket bargain shop, and it cost me $4. Now, you don't have to use a little beaker. I just love sciencey stuff. You can take one of your glass mugs out of your cupboard, like one of these, like a tumbler. Yeah, or you can buy a tumbler from Kmart. They cost like $1. And then keep that for your fragrance oil and never drink out of it again. Although glass is pretty good. If you want to get the smell out, because that still smells like the last one, if you spray that with 100% pure alcohol, it usually gets rid of the smell. Yeah, but you can use a glass, but yeah, I would keep it aside just for fragrance oils if that's what you plan on doing. Right. Thermometer. I have one out. I have 2 thermometers. I don't use a digital thermometer. Well, not. You can get ones that look like guns. Oh, I've turned the microwave on with my knee. I don't like them. I find them highly inaccurate. I have one. It's in the bottom of the drawer now because I hate it. It never gave me the right reading. I have been using this Candy thermometer for my entire soaping journey. I love it and I hate it. I love it because it's very accurate. I hate it because it's really, really hard to read because the centigrades are on the outside and Fahrenheit's on the inside. So you know, it's trying to read that outside. So I have bought myself one of these, which again, it's just a meat thermometer, I'm pretty sure. But it is a digital one, which see, it's upside down because I'm left-handed. But yeah, see, it's a digital thermometer. And it gives a fairly, geez, it's hot in here. There you go. That's what the temperature is right now in my house at 10 o'clock at night. Aren't you glad you're not me? Although if I was in Queensland it'd probably be worse. I'm just starting to use this. I've tried it a few times and it seems fairly accurate. I don't use thermometers in soap making. I use it for candles, but when you first start out soaping, you don't need it for this. You do not need a thermometer for this at all, because we're going to do room temperature. So I swear you do not need a thermometer. Don't rush out and buy one. You can get these for, I wrote it down, Woolies. You can get them from $6. You can get a meat thermometer, a Wiltshire meat thermometer for $9.90 at Coles. Yeah, so yeah, if you want to get one, get one. But seriously, for this particular tutorial, which basically I'm making this, and I'll probably say this so many times you get sick of me saying, is for you to try to make a soap for your very first time and see if you like it. I don't want you to do what I did, even though it kind of worked out in the long run, but I don't want you to go out and spend, I keep turning the microwave on with my knee. I don't want you to go out and spend $200 on equipment and then go, I don't like making soap, what am I going to do with all this stuff? That's not the objective here. The objective here is to go out and spend $20, $30, I don't know, I didn't add it all up. And then if you say, oh, I don't like soap making, then you've only wasted a tiny bit of money. I mean, and the good thing with most of these things, all these things in here, you can reuse them as something else, you know, so you can use that as an actual ramekin. So yeah, so keep that in mind. If you want to get a thermometer, get one, but for the purpose of this tutorial, you do not need one. I got this one, which is a digital thermometer, but it's a meat thermometer as far as I know. I got this on eBay, so that's what it looks like. Alright. Okie dokie, so we've done that. Now, paper towel. Paper towel. You don't have to use paper towel, but I'm going to suggest that you use paper towel. And I'm going to suggest that you go and get some before you start soaping. If you want to be environmentally friendly, by all means do so. You can just use a dish rag. That's fine. You can wipe it up, chuck it in and wash. It'll wash up, no worries. It'll probably get stained like this one. That's black. Probably activated charcoal, which sometimes doesn't come out, but I have tea towels specifically designed just for soaping, and then I have the ones I wipe my hands on over there, because they do end up, again, they smell like fragrance oils, and your hands smell like fragrance oils all the time. If you're going to use paper towel, I would not recommend anything else. Here's a bloody great big ad for Viva. This stuff is the best paper towel on the planet. Well, I haven't tried all the paper towel on the planet, but I'm going to guess this is the best paper towel on the planet. But no, seriously, it is. The thing is, because it holds its strength when it's wet. So if you're wiping up a whole lot of soap batter and it gets wet, it doesn't matter. It's still fairly strong. I would suggest, if you do buy that, rip off a few sheets before you start. I sit down in front of my favourite TV show and just rip the whole thing up and end up with a pile like this, and then I sit it over there where it's within reach for when I soap. Alright, moulds. Now, we're going to keep this as cheap as possible, right? So, my two suggestions is either a silicone loaf mould, which you can pick up from Kmart really, really cheap. I think they're only a couple of bucks. I would absolutely recommend this as your first soap mould. It is the easiest thing to use, and they pop out so simple, really. I mean, honestly, I would recommend this over this method, although this is going to give you rounded edges, rounded corners. So, you know, your first couple of pieces are not going to look that spiffy. But if you don't want to, if you can't go to Coles or Kmart or wherever and get one of these. You can go to Reject Shop, anywhere that sells, I suppose you could even go to the newsagent, anywhere that sells gift boxes, you can use one of these, but we're going to have to line it, which means you're going to have to watch a video on how to line a mould. So there's that, and then this and this is going to cost the same, if not more, than this, because I think you can get this for like $4, and this was, I mean, I'm pretty sure this was $4 and this was $2, so that's actually dearer than this, and this is more work because we're going to have to line it. You can't just pour soap in there. Alright, so you choose, because you'll need to do this before you make your soap. If you're going to get this, that's it, you're done, just buy it, it's done. If you're going to do it this way, you will have to watch the video on lining a mould, which will be up with these. Alright, and I think that's everything for equipment. If not, you'll probably see me come back and I'll go, oh, I forgot. But yes, I think that's everything. Alright, well, I'll see you for the next one. Bye.